Hello everyone, thank you for being here and hearing me. I brought everything wrote here, but I'm going to talk by myself. Anyway, when choosing the subject of this lesson, I thought, what could I say that would make the biggest difference for everyone or dealing with lipedema or treating lipedema as a doctor or therapist. And I really think that gluten is the main cause for a huge number of lipedema patients. So let's talk about that. Here are my disclosures. I don't have any, although I wish I had. I wrote a few books about lipedema, so that's only. Anyway, what's lipedema? Everyone here knows it's a symmetrical fat accumulation, typically in legs and arms. It's very painful, tender to touch with easy bruising, and frequently misdiagnosed as obesity or lymphedema. And that's the main point. It's very strong inflammatory component. Though typical serum markers may be normal, that's a huge problem because when I talk to other doctors, I say that's an inflammatory disease. Okay, why can't I see any biomarker elevated? So it's not an inflammatory disease. For me, I think that lipedema absorbs this inflammation in a way it doesn't appear in the lab tests, but that's not the subject for today. I would like to introduce you to the non-celiac gluten sensitivity. This is a disease. I hate this name because it feels like it's not quite as important as the celiac, or not as inflammatory or not as damaging to tissues like celiac. It's not the celiac disease, but the body reacts to gluten the same way. The only difference is the target tissue. The symptoms are gastrointestinal issues, fatigue, headaches, and sometimes swelling. There is a strong link with the HLA DQ2 and DQ8 genes. What happens is that those who have these genes have a higher intolerance to gluten, and gluten makes the produce of zonulin. And there is a zonulin deregulation that creates the leaky gut that we already hear, and then the systemic inflammation. Recently, a paper used a different name for the non-celiac gluten sensitivity that I think it's more real. It's the potential celiac disease. I mean, everyone, I have never seen a woman with lipedema and the celiac disease. I really believe that they are almost there, but they don't reach the celiac disease. Because the target of the inflammation is not the gut. Anyway, why gluten matters? Because lipedema is an inflammatory condition. Gluten can increase permeability, and then, as we just saw, trigger the immune response. What the immune system would do. The way we deal with any foreign body is inflammation. We release histamine and then inflammation, so the body can react to that and try to heal from this foreign body. So up to 61% of lipedema patients may have the DQ2 positive or the DQ8 positive. And gluten withdrawal often reported reduced symptoms. I published this paper. Sorry for the table. I pasted a draft table. The proportions are correct, but the numbers are not exactly what I published. Anyway, the DQ8 is a little higher in the lipedema, the DQ2 is a little higher in the lipedema population, but the DQ8 is twice the number of the general population. And those who have both alleles, it's 6-fold higher than the general population. It's incredibly high, and I don't know why anyone is talking about that. We did also in this paper evaluate the symptoms for the patients, and using a standardized questionnaire that I published, the Quasil questionnaire. And we saw that those who had the DQ2 or the DQ8 positive, they had worse symptoms. They had more pain, more swelling, more everything. So in DQ2 positive patients or DQ8 carriers, the partial gluten reduction is not enough. That's the problem. Most of the patients have tried to remove gluten, but they have reached 99%, not 100%. And this little 1% is enough to keep the inflammation on. So even if you ever tried to remove gluten, you probably haven't removed it all. Because there are cosmetics with gluten, even lipstick, shampoo, soaps, and the Play-Doh for kids is gluten. So there is gluten everywhere. And for those ones who have this gene, it's essential to remove it all. So the leaky gut, sorry, the movie is not, it was a beautiful. Anyway, when the zonulin is high, there is the increased intestinal permeability, and then the gluten peptides enter the bloodstream and activate the immune system. But there is a cross-reaction with other tissues. I mean, when the gluten peptides enter, we create the antigens, and the antigens go there trying to deal with this peptide. But there are too many antigens, and those antigens that more than needed, they go to other tissues, like the thyroid or the pancreas. That's why we have a higher prevalence of Hashimoto and other thyroid problems. So it could drive the chronic inflammation. Keto diet is gluten-free by default, and it also have very anti-inflammatory properties, and it could help diminish lowering weight and BMI, and also a reduction in swelling. So why aren't we studying these more? There is a lack of awareness among all clinicians. Lipedema is often dismissed as obesity, and gluten's role in lipedema is under-investigated. 61% of them carry these genes, and no one talks about that. That's incredible. I just need to say that HLA DQ2 and DQ8 are not the genes for lipedema. Those are the genes for one of the triggers of the inflammation. So men can carry these genes and have other symptoms, not lipedema. I have patients every day with those improvements when we remove gluten. So why aren't we talking more about this big elephant in the room? It doesn't matter to paint the wall if you leave the elephant there. Anyway, this is an improvement removing gluten. 6 months, she lost all of this weight, and then we operated. But then she got pregnant, lost her baby, she gave up on conservative treatment and started eating gluten again. What happened? Lipedema comes back. This one, gluten removal and keto dieting. So in 9 months, without surgery, she got this improvement. This one, Ehlers-Danlos, mast cell activation syndrome, lipedema, and those genes. Removal of gluten, she lost all this weight, and she became a sports triathlete and improved much more. This one also, no surgery, removal of gluten, and improved a lot. This one also in 9 months, and I wrote very much about that and in my book. And just key takeaways, please test DQ2 and DQ8 for your patients. If positive, do a complete gluten elimination, paranoid gluten removal of 100% will work, I have no doubt. And watch for cross-contamination and hidden gluten, cosmetics, and nutritional guidance and consistent follow-up are crucial. So 61% of the patients may be potential celiac disease patients. In these cases, lipedema becomes a symptom, not a standalone disease. Those are my contact information. Just last message, all my videos in YouTube are being translated, dubbed in English, so I have already translated all of the lipedema videos. I have now probably 1.3 million followers, so it's an interesting channel. Thank you.